This is the story of a trophy for the world. A journey. A dream.
Hello, viewers out there. You're welcome once again to Sports Orbit. My name is Apacho Salifu Usman. Also joins me on the program today. Salifu, welcome to Sports Orbit.
Thank you for having me.
All right, and also all the way from the UK, our colleague Wale Ayeni also joins us on today's episode of the program. Wale, welcome to the show. Wale, if you can unmute your mic, I'm sure you can
Okay.
hear me.
Yeah. Good afternoon to you, Alpha and Salifu, and to everyone in the studio. And thanks for having me.
Right, straight into the program for the day. I mean, World Cup has ended, but the after effects of the World Cup are still on as a World Cup winner. Argentina actually touched down in the capital, Buenos Aires, this morning after having a 20-hour flight all the way from Qatar. And they returned this morning, like we say, and later on, a party is being planned for the World Cup winners. We understand that today they'll be staying over at the training facility in Buenos Aires of the national team, while there'll later be a trophy parade around the city of Buenos Aires later in the day. Of course, they arrived with a huge crowd of fans who, in fact, majority of these Argentine fans only heard the stories of Argentina winning the World Cup because, except maybe you are above, maybe in your 40s, a lot of the fans are young people who only heard that Argentina won the World Cup in 1986, courtesy of Diego Maradona. That's 36 years ago, but many of them actually saw it live and they get to see their heroes and get to see the World Cup for the first time.
Yeah, Alpha, it is quite amazing one for the Argentines, and they can't forget this memory, and it's something that is worthy celebrations worldwide. And just like you say, yes, the World Cup has ended, but I think the memory of this thing will live long as far as Argentina.
The party is just starting.
The life of Argentina, and obviously the party just started. Just like you rightly say, all the players that win the World Cup, starting from Lionel Messi, who is the oldest among the players, and everyone, none of them were born when Argentina won the World Cup 36 years ago. And so to them, just like rightly say, it was just a story that yes, Argentina was once a world champion, and they have dreamed, they have waited for this for so long. For 36 years, they have been doing, so they have put in everything, through all the energy, all the resources. They believe that they have. There's many ever World Cup apart from after Argentina won it in 1986. There's every edition of the World Cup, Argentina is always one of the favorites.
Very well.
Every edition, anytime Argentina went to the competition for the World Cup, they are always considered as one of the favorites to win the World Cup, but it never happened. And they waited for long, dreaming out. Some of them have even forgotten, just like Lionel Messi was saying that either he was chased or to win the World Cup. And several fans of Argentina also come the same to whether we are not to win the World Cup in our own time. But here we are with the grace of hell they have finally achieved that feat in the 2022 in Qatar. So it's something that they can't let this just no. It's something this world celebrate. It's a national day and they continue to celebrate it. And it's worthy to celebrate it.
Yeah, I mean, Wale, in fact, Argentina back at Buenos Aires to celebrate. In fact, we even understand that. So I'm even surprised to see you wearing, a shirt with a logo of a particular popular kit maker. I actually heard that Adidas shirts are actually out of sale. With the Argentina Adidas shirts are out of sale completely because of the win. You can't find any genuine Adidas shirt in the market currently that has with the Argentine jersey. So when I saw this on you, I was surprised that you were lucky to get one of the few before it went out of circulation.
Of course, I've had this long before the World Cup. But talking about Argentina, the last time they won the World Cup was in 1986, and is over 30 something years. And now for them winning the World Cup you should expect a huge party, a welcoming party for the Argentine team. No doubt about it. The party will go on throughout the rest of the year and going into
Okay.
the new year because it has been a massive victory for the Argentines. The Argentine fans have been waiting to have a sense of celebration. We all know how
Awesome.
the country is being faced with inflation in that particular world, but winning the World Cup will actually give the citizens a succor, and they'll have a good time for them to celebrate this particular feat. It is not an easy feat for you to be the champions of the world when it comes to the round leader game. So the Argentines, Messi led Argentines can actually party throughout the year. No one will actually campaign for them, getting to party. But at this point in time, they have done the hard work. Now it's for them to, sit back, relax, celebrate with friends and family. Alpha.
Yeah, I mean, a nice one to celebrate this. I understand it's also a public holiday today in Argentina. Anyway, for even the second place team for France, also were giving a hero's welcome, even to a lot of the French players. In fact, they were even surprised that they are going to even receive that kind of turnout from their home fans, knowing that they didn't win. But it just goes to show you that their fans appreciated every effort. So I think the French fans were appreciated when they dropped down for the plane. Where I was watching those images, a lot of them initially were downcast, but when they saw the huge presence of the fans, their spirits were being lifted up. And the fans just said they just came out to appreciate them. I mean, you guys have done well. Yes, you didn't win it, but you fought till the very end. You turned up, you represented France and the French spirit.
Yeah, it is just unfortunate that
Mm.
the French team went back without a trophy.
Yeah,
The only thing that was missing between
mm.
the French and the Argentine
Yeah,
team
was the
is a trophy.
trophy.
Argentina went with a
Absolutely.
trophy, while the French only went without a trophy, but the silver medal.
Mm.
So I think for me, in my in my personal view, I give a thumbs up to the French team
Yeah.
more than the Argentine, because French give everything all and give fight,
Very well.
give everything they fight for that trophy, and
Mm.
fight to the last minute to the last minute. But sometimes, no matter how you put your effort, you may have your team, but God may have another plan for you, and God wish for that the trophy should go to at the time this time. If not for and you remember we said Diego, if not for first came to this tournament as the defending champion, that is the defending champion, and for the first time the first defending champion in the last 2 decades
Yeah.
to go beyond the group stage.
Exactly.
Several champions have come to this competition and get out of the competition in the first round. But the French stay beyond the first round, stay beyond the second round, beyond the quarter round, semi-final, and get to the final. And almost at the time, being almost to the end, or having their touch on taking the trophy back to Paris. But before God have another plan for us. No, you are happy with what let Argentina have this time.
Yeah.
So for French national team, they deserve every competition, they deserve every bit that they need to be celebrated because they are heroes.
Yeah, very well. I completely agree with you. And still on the World Cup, one man who is basking still in ninth heaven, and that's talking about Lionel Messi. Actually shared pictures of himself on his Instagram page earlier today, where he actually slept on the bed with the World Cup and woke up having a coffee or whatever he's having, still with the World Cup by his side. In fact, I noticed even when they dropped down from the plane, he held on tightly to the cup. He was hardly allowing, apart from the celebration, since then, the cup has always been with him. He's hardly allowed anybody to go anywhere near the cup.
This is
But
oh,
honestly, it's still amazing.
Yeah.
I think you can see why Messi
Mm.
actually deserves to win.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful trophy that
Mm.
if he had not won it,
Yeah.
he will not forget it in his life.
Mm.
He will not forget it. But whatever Messi have achieved all that he needed to
Yeah.
achieve in the round leader game. He has won everything, both individual award, both individual, whatever everyone wants to achieve. But this World Cup mean a lot
Yeah.
to him, and the image you are seeing here clearly justify that he is more to Messi more than
More than
the
anything.
seven Ballon
Yeah.
d'Or,
Mm.
the Champions League, and
Mm.
every other trophy he has won. And you can clearly see it's quite amazing.
Yeah, clearly. I mean, sometimes.
I hope this one will not get to hurt Ronaldo more.
No, I mean, it shouldn't hurt him if he can stay fit at 41 and if Portugal were able to do it well, we'll see how. I mean, Wally, in the past, Messi severally when he was asked about which you prefer to win the World Cup or his Ballon d'Ors. Clearly, he said he preferred to have one World Cup without a Ballon d'Or, and finally, he has. In addition to the Ballon d'Ors, the World Cup is also his now for the taking.
Of course, the World Cup is the most important, a trophy a player will want to win. When you look at all the areas of titles, the Champions League, the Premier League, the La Liga, the Bundesliga, the French League One, the World Cup is the ultimate target for any football player that wants to win a trophy. So him getting to sleep, with the title. I
Okay.
feel is actually well deserved. You can actually sleep with the title for as long as the title will be with them. So I feel it's a good development for him, just to show that he has entered the class of one of the greatest players to have ever played the round leader game. And the issue of who is the greatest between him and Ronaldo at this point in time has been settled. The argument is done and dusted. Move forward to the next one at this point in time. So him getting to sleep with the trophy is just to celebrate, to show how he truly cherishes that trophy, and to show how he had actually fought to win for that particular title alpha.
All right. Quickly, we'll go on a break. When we come back, Sport Hobby continues. Don't go nowhere.
This is the story of a trophy for the world. A journey. A dream.
Welcome back from that break. For former Nigerian midfielder that's talked about Mutiu Adepoju, he said he's optimistic that the Super Eagles has what it takes to qualify and compete for the 2026 World Cup title. Called that the Super Eagles failed to qualify after being knocked out in the final playoffs by Ghana. Adepoju, who took to social media to celebrate the newly crowned champions, Argentina expressed optimism that the Super Eagles will be among the contenders 4 years from now. Like he posted, said, congratulations to Argentina on their triumph. Looking forward to the next edition where I hope to see my darling Super Eagles compete for the title. Yes, we can, he wrote on Twitter. I mean, a lot of Nigerians in the past few days have been sounding saying all kinds of things. If Nigeria was at the World Cup, would have done this. Maybe looking at the feat of Morocco, and we keep forgetting that Morocco didn't get there by chance. But it's just like there's this saying that sometimes you say that this thing didn't happen because I was not there. That kind of thing. So it's part of those kind of things. Nigeria sounding boastful as usual when we couldn't even beat Ghana to qualify.
Even the man that masterminded our not qualification,
Yes.
in my opinion,
Yes.
was also this supposed to be have the World Cup.
Exactly.
It's not about saying Nigeria has the capacity, Nigeria has this or that. It's all about planning.
That's what I say.
Even the French national team that won the World Cup 2004 won the World Cup 4 years ago, and still get back and play to the final.
Yeah.
After winning Russia 4 years ago, they didn't want to sleep.
At all.
They have a consistent plan
Very
on ground,
well.
and that is why you can see the French. That's why miss 3 key players.
Yeah.
They
Got to this level.
They are still play and got to the level. And even the Argentines who are priced several times, they were in the final 2014, 8 years ago.
Exactly.
4 years ago, they couldn't replicate the team, but they still went back, and today
Exactly.
they are champions.
Yeah.
It's not they have all the material, but it's not all done by chance. Now, yes, Nigeria will have the players, but if you look at the players or even boasting and have the players, what is the cohesion and what is the coordination between the players and the players? Is the player? It's not about just go. It's not about just picking from here, picking and bringing them together. It has to be steady plan. What is our preparation for the World Cup? What is our plan? Yes, we lost the ticket. As since we lost the ticket, what is the strategy for the next 4 years? That now we have used the local and we are starting a serious country after even those countries that participated in the World Cup that they group it, Someone who are all going to get the round of 16, have gone back to the drawing board and started beginning to think and strategize ahead of the next World Cup on what they drawn the plan.
Yeah.
But what is the plan you have drawn? Apart from the election changing, happening the change of leadership, the new leadership has come in. What is the World Cup plan that they have put in place? Nothing. We have Pesero, the coach that have the coach that cannot even play 5 matches and he cannot win a single one.
Yeah.
So what are we talking here? Yes, we have them. Yes, we have individual talent. Yes, there's no doubt about that. Nigeria has the talent. But what is our plan to harness this talent and assemble and make them a competitive team who can beat who stand anywhere?
I don't know if Wale still does. I mean, just like I think what you said, of course, similar thing with that next story where John Noble from an international Super Eagles player actually, according to him, he said Nigeria would have gotten to the semi-final if they were at the World Cup. You know, like I said, you know, Nigerians saying all kinds of things. We would have done this, would have done that. I mean, we couldn't beat Ghana in the first place. So what's the guarantee? To get into the semi-final, you have to play 6 matches to get there. You couldn't a two-legged affair. You couldn't qualify, and you're talking of going to the semi-final. Is it because Morocco got there, an African team? We shouldn't be calling ourselves in the same breath as Morocco, considering the investment they put on ground before they got to where they are today.
Of course, if you look at or the setup, we should not actually compare ourselves to Morocco. For them to actually got to the semi-finals and eventually they came fourth at the World Cup. We are not ready yet. We didn't beat Ghana. We didn't do our homework well to beat Ghana. So nobody should come out and say who could have actually got into the semi-finals. What was our preparation prior to the to the World Cup qualifying matches? How well did we perform? Did we perform well against Ghana in our own backyard in a stadium that was actually filled up to the brim, up to capacity? We had so many fans even that could not even have their way going to the stadium. So they can't say that they don't really have the fans base support. They had all the support they could actually have, but we know that the team is still lacking a bit of every department. So we need to start the preparations now. We need to actually get to qualify for the next Nations Cup first, and also see how we can able to perform very well in that particular one, and also see how we can able to do when it comes to the World Cup qualification ahead of the 2026 World Cup. As Salifu has said, the preparation should start now. We should not wait, for 1 year, into the World Cup. That is when we start, selecting players. We should have a good set of players now. We should have a good database of players. We should have, scouts monitoring all our players all over the world. Getting to have, this set of database that we can actually get to, pull players who are currently on form to play, for the country, not be, mixing politics into player selection. We have seen that, affecting African teams in the World Cup. So going forward, we must actually start the preparation now, ensure that we get the right set of players, beef up the technical, technical aspect of the team, ensure that we have, them supporting them, have a road plan. I know that we have a 10 years working plan at this point in time. Have we start implementing that particular project, or is that project just lying down, covering dust in offices, and we don't get to do the magic? If we don't start the preparation now, there's no way we can actually get to the semi-finals come 2026 if we don't start preparation now, as Salifu has actually earlier pointed out, Alpha.
If you allow me, if I may also add.
I wanted to ask you a follow-up question, because even the so-called 10-year plan, like we discussed already, like you rightly said, the 10-year plan, you said there was nothing about football development. It's all about sharing of position, how to expand, for more stakeholders, because there's really nothing about how many pitches are we going to do, what kind of grassroots competitions are we going to have, and all of that.
Okay, now, for instance, just like you say, sometimes people are just speaking anyhow, just because of the enthusiasm of the moment.
Yeah.
Because you see Morocco do it, you see
exactly.
do it. Because you see your stepmother do it, you say, oh, if my mother is alive, I will be fed better.
Yeah.
Who tell you that if your mother was alive, I will be fed better than your stepmother?
Yeah.
No. Okay, Nigeria, before the World Cup, we played 2 friendly matches against the World Cup finalists. We played against Ecuador, beat us 2-0. We faced Morocco, the same Morocco that the same Portugal that Morocco beat.
Yeah.
Morocco beat us 4-0.
Exactly.
Portugal, they beat
Yeah.
Nigeria 4-0.
Mhm.
Was not the same player that would have played with the World Cup that would
Very-
take them to go and play the friendly.
Very well.
Is it the likes of the Echo that will take them to go and defend it? So, okay, now look, I'm not criticizing Nigeria, but we have to be realistic from the stand on on the issues on the ground.
Yeah.
We are talking of the World Cup.
Mm.
Since we missed the World Cup,
Mm.
and just like the 10 years development plan you make reference to, what is the design
Very well.
on how we are going to go about it?
Mm.
We have Nigeria Football Federation that the technical department of NFF has not any technical input any technical idea to input.
Yeah.
Who are the members of the technical committee? What is their pedigree in football, in their pedigree, in their technical knowledge, know-how of the game? We just constitute a committee and give to just my friend and this. Ordinarily, if most of those countries that you see them being what, there's no, it's all about all inclusive, based on merit on the competent know-how, somebody who are the experts. They don't care who born you, they don't care where you are coming from. And that's why in the first team you see them dominated by black. They don't care where you are coming from. As far as you have something to offer, you are good. But here in this country, as far as you are from the south, you don't like my face, or you are from the north, you don't like my face, you are not qualified to be there. It doesn't start either you are competent or you have the technical knowledge of it. You have the Nigeria Football Federation as the technical committee of NFF must not be a member of the NFF.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be who are the experts in the technical knowledge.
Very well.
Take them from anywhere you have, anywhere you feel that they have the technical input to input. But here we're acting on a different way, and we want to achieve because we see other achieve. So we should try to be realistic on the basic issues. We have no plan on ground. If not, if you are to talking, if you are a people who follow up programs and follow up ideas, Nigeria should have been the first African country to even win the World Cup. So have win the World Cup now. A country who have won 5 of the other 17 World Cup. So who are those players who won the 17 World Cup? What is their progress to the next level? Nothing, because there's no consistent program to follow up.
Well, we'll see how that pans out. And it's our next story where PSG president has hinted that Messi and Mbappe will still stay at the club for Messi. His contract expires next year, June, but for Mbappe, he still has, till 2025. But president says, these are the best 2 players currently. They're the best 2 players at the World Cup. So he intends to still keep 2 of them at PSG. So, Wale, I think good one coming from the club president. And if there's one thing, at least Messi has the World Cup now. Both are World Cup winners. So maybe Messi should stand around and help Mbappe also have a Champions League. What do you think?
Of course, no any club in the whole world would not want to keep Mbappe and Messi at this point in time, because we know they are arguably the best player currently based on form and performance. Also, the expert at the World Cup. So, for the PSG chief to actually, ensure that they will keep both players, I feel they should actually do it. They still have a couple of good players, the likes of Hakim Ziyech, who are actually capable of getting, PSG to win the Champions League, because we know that it's been very, very long since they actually won the Champions League, and they'll be actually looking forward to win the Champions League this season. And I see that can actually happen, because they have the likes of Ramos also, who actually play in the back. They have a solid goalkeeper at this point in time. So I feel a Champions League win for both Messi and Mbappe this season might just be what we actually get to keep those 2 players, for a very, very long time in Paris. So I feel this should be a welcome development. No one will actually want to see both players get to lead, France at this point in time, despite the fact that, Real Madrid is actually not bidding to lure, Mbappe to Spain. But I feel at this point in time, the club, management, you actually want to keep them, actually want to give them any certain amount. Both, our players will actually be requesting for them to remain at the club, Alpha.
All right. So for Qatar, after successfully hosting, what FIFA president and many consider to be the best World Cup, and now set their sight on hosting, the Olympic in 2036. And don't forget that also in 2025 they'll be hosting the table tennis championship, and also the Formula One will return in Qatar in 2023. 2023 also Qatar will also be hosting the Asian Cup, and is also set to stage the World Swimming Championship in 2024. So for Qatar, looks like this World Cup has just opened them up and a lot of different sporting activities have been lined up where Qatar are willing to host.
I think obviously the Qatar has put a lot of people despite all the atrocities, all the negative reports about the Qatar, the human rights, this thing they are to record human interest record, all sorts of things about the Qatar. They are spun out to be the best World Cup ever in terms of organization and in terms of everything. And at the same time, this one significant thing about the Qatar World Cup, that even the fans who are physical challenged have similar access to enter the stadium, to enter everywhere without any restrictions, and which is another stand out from the Qatar World Cup, unlike where the physical challenged people find it difficult to have access to the stadium. But here in Qatar, everything was simple. So these people, the Qatar, they have proved that they are best in terms of organizing and in terms of everything. So I think now nobody will doubt their chances, nobody will doubt their capacity, nobody will doubt everything that they can have to hold the Olympic. If they have hosted a World Cup just within one city,
very well.
Unlike every other hosting nation, they cross across the World Cup was within one city, and perfectly easy without any stress,
no incidents at all.
No incident. No incident. So clearly, the Qatars are proof that they have everything to work, and we continue to see more and more events being hosted in Qatar.
All right, quickly before we leave the studio, yes, the World Cup is over, but club football has returned, and of course, for Europe, without wasting any much time, the EFL Cup returns today, and some matches will be on tonight. We have those fixtures. Let's have a look at them. There'll be matches today, tomorrow, and I think the Premier League 2 is gearing up to resume. Yeah, so if we have fixtures, can we quickly look down at a rundown of those fixtures? Okay, well, some matches will be played today in the EFL results. So hopefully tomorrow we'll give you results of those matches as they pan out. So, Wale, thank you for joining us on today's edition of the program.
Thank you, Alpha, for having me. Qatar can definitely host, the Olympic Games, having successfully host, the World Cup. I feel they can actually put it off. So, due to the fact that they have a good transportation system and they have, good facilities, right there. So, I'm saying a very good afternoon to you and to everybody in the studio, and thanks for having me.
All right, Salifu, thank you for being on the program today also.
Thank you.
Right, tomorrow is another day. We'll bring you an exciting, more refreshing package. Until then, do stay safe out there. My name is Alpha Cho, and it's bye for now.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.